Hi, I'm Karson.
And I'm Karson.
We're Karson and Carson.
And this is Stan Lee's diary.
He ripped his elbow out and stabbed him with it.
Yeah, if Captain America was like, we gotta go, I'd be like, okay. Yep. And then he'd be like, we're fighting Iron Man. I'd be like, you lost me. This is always how I envision my wedding.
Really?
You know, though, I kind of like the exclusivity. Like, I don't want to be in a group that just anyone can be in.
I'm gonna check that.
Yeah. Are we not recording?
Welcome back.
Yeah, we're back.
Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. In the future.
Yes, this will be coming out on February 14th, so either Happy Valentine's Day or Happy Single Awareness Day.
The perfect romantic evening consists of two things. Us.
Two Carsons.
Two Carsons on a podcast or a YouTube video. So, you know, if you're looking to take out your special somebody, say, why do we need to go out to some expensive dinner or fancy roses when we could just turn on Karson and Carson and hear them talk about Marvel relationships.
And get Taco Bell.
Oh my god. Did you bring it?
No.
Why would you say that?
Because I'm trying to be healthy. I haven't had it all year.
All decade.
All decade. I have not had Taco Bell
in this entire decade.
That's true.
That's impressive.
I might this weekend.
I don't think I have either.
Wow, look at us. So healthy.
Who would have thought?
Who would have?
Not me.
Okay, so today we're doing a little Valentine's Day special, and we're going to be breaking down some of the relationships in the MCU. Yay.
Woot. Aww. Cute crowd noise.
We need a little sound machine.
We do need a sound machine, and I need to remember that if we get one, to put the sounds in post. If we do it. Or we could just not. That'd be funnier. And then people would have to guess what
noise it
we were
was.
Making.
That could be its own thing.
We
We would be like, I think that was clapping.
That was clapping. Yeah.
Alright, which one would you like to start with, Karson?
Okay, so we had a few ideas of what to talk about. Relationships that we liked in the MCU, relationships that we didn't like, and like hot takes on relationships that many, many people wish would have been and have fan-fictionalized into, subliminal MCU canon in the back of everyone's heads now.
And my favorite ship names.
Of
Because
course.
I have discovered some fantastic ones recently.
Carson went on Reddit, and that's a dangerous world to dive into.
Yeah.
But it's also very exciting.
I know, I was like, I'm kind of frightened, kind of excited.
Yeah. I had not heard some of them when you mentioned a couple of them to me before, and I can't wait to hear more.
I think I found the biggest list that you could find.
Alright,
Okay.
so I think we should start with one that we like.
Okay. Dun, 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 dun.
And the first relationship is...
Tony and Pepper. That's first on my list.
Yay! Tony and Pepper. Aww.
So cute.
What's not to love about Tony and Pepper?
Pepper and Iron Man 3. And that's that.
We're gonna talk about this? We're gonna do this now?
I like where they ended up.
Okay.
I don't like Pepper and Iron Man 3.
Okay.
That's awesome.
What I'd like to say is that what's not to love? Hold. You got giant teddy bears. You got, workplace flirting. You got, which might be something to not love, but you got, you got mutual respect and caring for each other. Like, Tony always trying to take care of Pepper, but her having to take care of him for real all the time. Like, he's always willing to take care of her, but she never really needs it. Especially before they're, like, in a relationship. But him knowing that is the cute part. It's like, what did I get you for your birthday? It's like, because I know, like, I want to get you something, I just know I'm too self-obsessed to focus on you before we're actually together. Right? Like,
He's also just not a good gift giver,
no,
I think. I think he just can't shop.
See, because when he tried, he got her a giant teddy bear.
I thought it was a rabbit.
It was a rabbit. A
rabbit bear?
Rabbit bear. And
it was huge.
It was huge, and it had an interesting figure, to say the least.
I feel like I would like it. Like, that would be dope.
It's too big.
If you had a big house, though,
I guess. But, like, how do you clean it? You know what I mean?
well, you just, like, play with it.
What do you have? It's 20 feet tall.
Climb it. It's like a big jungle gym of a toy.
But then, you know, it's like they both have their own stuff going on once Pepper takes over the company, and then once the blip happens.
Oh, yeah, that's what we're calling it.
That's what it's called. But I guess the blip is when they come back and the decimation. Once the decimation happens.
The decimation?
That's what I heard.
Just call it the dusting.
The dusting. When the dusting happened, you know, Pepper, she got really into, you know, composting. She had her
what
own
was
thing
going on? What was she doing?
She became, you know, a really healthy, you know, vegan person, like Gwyneth Paltrow.
Was she?
I think she became Gwyneth Paltrow. That's my headcanon. She just morphed into that.
She just became herself.
She became herself. They lived in the woods, you know. She became real organic. And, got into composting.
They probably had to.
And then he would just like to, you know, take care of the llamas, which is deleted scenes apparently.
And alpacas.
Alpacas, I think that's more what it was, not llamas.
Well, RDJ has both. I want to say both.
In like real life?
Yeah. Because there's an interview with RDJ and they say, "What? You're so like Tony Stark, what's the difference?" And he was like, "I have alpacas and llamas." So they were like, "Not anymore."
Wow. But yeah, Tony just, you know, fiddles around with, like,
stuff.
Green experiments and, like, taking care of the house, in my imagination.
Building more suits.
And then, you know, finally getting his mom a good gift, or his wife a good gift. Whoa.
You know what? I wonder when he presented it to her, because she just, like, kind of knew where the fight was and just, like, showed up. I was sitting there like, who's babysitting? Is it Happy? I assume it's Happy.
Probably Happy.
He's probably like...
It's gotta be Happy.
He's like, this is security.
Yeah.
Security's job.
But, I think she just always knew about it. I mean, if Morgan found it, Pepper would have known about it. It's not like Tony's, great at keeping secrets.
That's true. He did announce to the whole world
his
identity right after they said not to.
Yeah.
So... But yeah, they're a solid couple.
Good, wholesome, you know.
They broke up a couple times. They had some rocky,
some ups and downs.
She finally got over her issues.
Right, and he'd been, you know, Happy'd been waiting for this since 2008. So like,
that's true.
We knew it was gonna. He knew it was gonna happen, and he's really close to both of them. So that's just another signed steel stamp of approval, you know, from Happy Hogan.
There you go. Do we want to go down our list of ones we like, or do we want to go to one we don't like?
Let's go to one we don't like. Let's mix it up, you know?
Okay. Which one would you like to start with?
I forgot what we wrote on the list.
Okay, we'll go with the obvious. I think everyone can agree that no one likes Steve and Sharon Carter.
I hope so. So, first biggest problem for me. Steve is 100 years old, and he dated your aunt. Now, does this happen in real life?
No.
Sure.
Oh.
Sometimes.
Okay.
Hopefully you're not, if you're a viewer in backwoods kind of hick territory, you know, where people are just real sleazy, grimy 45-year-old men, you know, break up with their girlfriend and date their daughter, you know, or like little sister. Things like that do happen, but it's never healthy for anybody, and it's always real creepy on the level of, I can't have you, so I'm gonna have someone with your DNA.
Also, they had just come from her funeral.
Yeah.
They were just at Peggy's funeral. And then they're in the middle of running from the cops.
Just like, mwah, mwah, mwah. And then Sam and Bucky are like, yeah, man, get it. And we're like, whoa.
Well, they probably also have no clue who she is or what is happening.
That could be.
When do you think Steve picked up Bucky and was like, so let me tell you everything that's happened since you've been on the run?
I don't know, but Bucky knew Peggy. So it's not impossible. I mean, I guess he'd be more likely to know that there's some common link, I guess. But it's just, And it's also weird because, like, she was spying on him.
Yeah.
And then they met at the funeral, and he was like, oh, you're her niece. So, are you single? Or, like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he liked her before he knew, which makes it a little less weird. But she knew the whole time.
I think hers was always, I don't think she liked him. I think it was infatuation.
It's like, oh my God, it's Captain America.
And she also was just, for some reason, rubbed me the wrong way as, like, a character. I don't know what it was. Not everyone come for me about it, but something about her character. And then they are never heard from really again?
I think part of the reason is that I don't think we're supposed to like her for most of the film. I mean, I think we're supposed to like the two of them together, but when Fury, spoiler, dies, or doesn't die, she comes in and she's like the first person, and she's like, I'm working for S.H.I.E.L.D., blah, 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 and Fury just said, I don't know who to trust, right? Like, don't trust anybody, right? So it's kind of like the whole agency has been cast in doubt, and now you find out she's part of it.
Right.
It's like, is she really just trying to flirt her way to Captain America so she can, get him, whack him, or whatever?
Stab him?
You know what I mean? So maybe that's part of the reason we don't like her. In which case, good job, writers. But, like, if that's not it, that's just the way I'm seeing it a little bit now, thinking back on it. But yeah, it's just not a good match. There's always something off. And it's Steve just really, like, we opened that movie with Natasha trying to get Steve back out there,
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I think he feels peer pressured as well. So he takes any little inclination of interest that he has for Sharon and just goes for it.
Right.
When he probably wouldn't have.
Right. It's a weird one. Never should have happened. I think they realized that after, and everyone did not like it.
Yeah.
And because I don't really remember her being heard from since. I know she was dusted.
Right.
Because her picture shows up. Don't know why we were keeping track of her. But
well, she's in the CIA or the Interpol or whatever now. She's one of those international spy people, important in this in this biz, the superhero biz.
She didn't come back in a ring, so I don't...
She did not.
And she didn't go to Tony's funeral.
Dare she?
I bet they didn't invite her.
Probably not. I don't think Tony ever met her.
I feel like he had to have. I feel like...
Maybe.
Just because Peggy started S.H.I.E.L.D., but also Howard Stark was part of that. Like, I feel like they had to have had some... Like, I feel like Tony definitely knew Peggy at one point.
Oh, Peggy.
So I feel like he probably met her niece because she's a lot younger than him, but I feel like they probably crossed paths or he knew of her, like that she existed.
Maybe. And I was thinking more of like during the crime and during the chase and all that kind of stuff. I don't think they ever met, did they?
Like in Civil War?
Yeah.
I don't
remember them interacting. They were in the same building quite a few times.
Yeah.
So,
both
or at
working,
least once, so they might have, but she was double dealing, so we don't really know.
Yeah, and then I was like, why are you doing that? It's not like...
I mean, she's trying to help Cap. So
I was like,
it's
girl,
just a whole tricky thing.
Pick a side. Also, Black Widow in that movie. Pick a side. What are you doing? Which maybe her new movie will tell us. What was she doing?
Oh my god, I'm so excited.
I know. They played it during the Super Bowl, and I was like, everybody be quiet!
I wasn't even watching the Super Bowl. I watched like the last 8 minutes, but then like the next day, I just watched the Marvel promos from that stuff.
So, Infinity War came out our freshman year. Remember?
Did it?
I want to say it did.
Yeah.
And I want to say outside, out in like the entryway because the doors were broke.
Right.
For like an hour.
More than that. Just talking in code about
and then we went back the next night.
Yeah.
Or like 2 nights later, you and I went back and watched it again.
Yeah.
We went together and we were like, okay, now we'll watch this part really intensely.
Right, because we're trying to figure out what's next.
Yeah, and then, but I remember that came on during the Super Bowl. Because you were watching the Super Bowl in your room and you came in mine. You were like, it's happening.
Oh, there was a promo.
I kind of come in.
It was great. Yeah, I remember because I was excited. Because I knew it was going to, they say there's rumors there's going to be a spot or whatever. Oh, okay. All right,
moving on. Sorry.
We're getting off track.
Reminiscing about 3 years ago.
Wow.
3 years since
Quite a ride.
It's been a big one. So, don't like Steve and Sharon. Glad they fixed that.
Yeah.
I'm sure she's happy wherever she's doing.
What we do like. However.
But we do like Steve and Peggy.
Go Steve and go Peggy. That came out really weird.
They're like an OG.
Yes.
You gotta love Steve and Peggy.
You gotta. Steve is a whimpering little kid who always wants to do what's right, and Peggy is a bad beep. And a bad beep woman. That's a bad A. She's strong, and
And she was into him before he was Captain America. Yeah. Like, she was into scrawny little Steve, which honestly, who isn't?
Bad heart, He's a good person. Mm-hmm. And she's around all these guys in the military that just, at that time, were not good people.
Right.
Like, they wanted to be the big, bad, tough guy, and Steve just wanted to be the good guy. You know what I mean? Just wanted to help people. And
do you remember that one time she, shot at him?
Yes.
With the shield? That's...
Kiss that girl.
And she said, it works. What was she going to do if that shield did not work? And
she was content.
She was like, he'll heal.
I think he was fine. I think she was ready to shoot him because she cared. She liked him and he liked her. And just because they hadn't said anything doesn't mean you get to go kissing other ladies. Because all of a sudden you're big and buff now. Captain America's got biddies. That's not okay,
And she was going to shoot him 4 times.
Yeah. And I wanted to make sure we talked about Steve and Peggy because I see a lot of hate on the interwebs in the Marvel Cinematic Universe Twitter and Instagram and Tumblr sections of the world.
Getting out there.
Everyone is mad that
Steve went
back to Peggy. And he left Bucky and he would never do that and la-da-da-da-da. No, you're wrong. That's the first thing I have to say.
You're wrong.
Is that you're absolutely wrong. I texted my friend a month or two before Endgame came out. I texted Emma Warkowski, and she's... Shout out to Emma. Shout out to Emma.
Hey, Emma.
She has the receipts. Did she watch? I don't think so, but she's got the receipts.
You told me that, too.
And I did.
Before we went.
Yeah, and I said, that's when the time travel theories were running rampant, and everyone was starting to think that's probably what it's going to be. I was kind of hoping it wasn't going to be that, but they did it well. But anyway, that's a side note. But I said, if they get the ability to go back in time, Steve's not going to come back. He's going to stay with Peggy. And I said that just out of pure gut feeling, but that's because of how well crafted the relationship was between the two of them. Steve was over the top infatuated with her, and she was the same with him. People have problems with it for a number of reasons because Bucky he's all alone. He's been out with Steve.
Bucky's not alone.
Yes. All right.
Bucky's not alone.
Bucky's not alone. Sorry, we had some technical difficulties. I didn't charge the battery on our camera.
He doesn't.
So we're back. But no, Bucky's not alone for one now, and people complain that he, spent all this time without Steve, and now he finally gets to see Steve for a year, but that's not really true. Bucky didn't know he was missing Steve. There's a difference there.
Right.
He was iced, which you don't remember anything when you're iced.
And he was brainwashed to not even know.
Exactly. So it's not like Bucky has missed out on this. Yes, it's sad. Bucky's best friend is gone. But Steve has had to live, the last 10 years without Peggy.
Right.
And he went down and Peggy was alive, and he woke up and Peggy was 80 and 90 and had Alzheimer's and didn't remember him. Right? And now people are also upset because in Agent Carter, a side series that really, is kind of like all of the previous Netflix series where it's cool to watch, but this one has, I think, the least amount of like crossover with the movies. It's just her, right? It's her story, and it's a really good show. But people are upset because it went 2 seasons, and in like the end of the second season, she married a guy. So people are upset that Steve's gonna go back and like ruin this great relationship. And it was a decent, relationship, but it was also that kind of thing where it felt like she thought she needed to move on.
Right.
But she didn't need to. That's part of it.
Yeah. I also think Steve, intentionally or not, I do think he created a new reality when he went back. It doesn't make any sense to me. She still has children, like, she still has her niece, so, like, it's been mentioned that she's married with kids, and when she died, so, like, he went back and's with her, I think, but then he shows up on the bench. I was confused by the time. Yeah. I don't know if that'll ever be explained. I feel like, no, it's something you just kind of have to accept is.
Yeah, it's tricky.
And he got the shield back.
Right.
Which means, because I was watching this the other day and I noted that, and I was like, his shield was ruined in the future, which means that he knew where his self was. They had to unfrost. That's where they found his shield. Was when they unfrosted him, they found his shield, and then they found his body. Mm-hmm. So that means he was either like, hey, I'm kind of also down in the ocean. What if he had to, like, go kill his past self?
We do know that, Peggy sent Howard out to look for Steve. What if future Steve, who came back, told Peggy, this is where you need to look for me, blah, 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 blah. And he never knew quite where he was found, so they didn't actually find him until way, way, way later. But he started the search or something, and I don't know.
If there's, like, 2 Steves running around through.
There could be 2 Steves, and he's just hiding, and, like, she's a spy, she could keep the secret, and maybe that's why she's like, Steve, you're still alive. But maybe she thought he died because he was so old, Maybe.
Right.
I don't know. But I do like it, and I think people are dumb when they are like, Steve never would have went back. And it's exactly what
Bucky knew what he was going to do.
You might not have liked it, but yeah.
They like, I guess, what's the word? It was, like, hinted at the beginning. Like, he's in the counseling thing, and he's like, that the love of my life went into the ocean, woke up, and then he's like, I never move on.
Right.
And then I would argue to say that Natasha's his best friend in the future. Mm-hmm. More so, not that Bucky's not his best friend, but they've changed so much, and she helped him really adapt to the future. And then she died, so, like, he's just going through a lot. I do like the memes that we've now produced from it, of, like, Peggy being like, hey, Steve, our daughter got a new boyfriend. He seems so nice. And Steve's like, oh, what's his name? And Peggy's like, oh, Ted Bundy. Or stuff like that, where, like, Steve has to pretend to not know what's happening in the future. Or, like, Peggy asks him a question. He's like, I don't know, just Google it. And she's like, what's a Google? Like, I like those funny things.
Yeah, that's fun. It's like future Steve in the thing. And, yeah, it's tricky.
But I like that one. Okay. And we can move on to one we don't like. We have Bruce and Natasha. This one's tricky.
It is tricky because it never quite was, but also it produced my most uncomfortable moment in the 23 films in the MCU. 23, 22, 23, I think.
I'm not going to say a definite number.
I don't think anyone really is going to fact check me in the comments, so I'm going to say 23. Screw it.
All 9 subscribers, hey?
All 9 of us, hey, thanks. Like and subscribe, guys. Ring that bell. And, and if you're listening on the podcast, that doesn't mean a whole lot to you.
You can download it.
Download us on Spotify. Nice. Carson's the potty cat.
I'm the potty.
She's the potty person.
I'm the audio person.
Yeah. 23 movies. That's probably the most uncomfortable scene is in Avengers.
Age of Ultron. They're not together till Age of Ultron.
You're right.
I know.
And they go back to Clint's house, and they find a safe house. Everybody does, right? Mm-hmm. And Cap and Tony are fighting about, whose pile of wood is bigger, and Thor is flying back to
Cap rips it in half, and it's
styrofoam, but like it,
But it was a great moment.
And his chest just, but inside, Natasha is waiting to take a shower, and Bruce comes out of the shower, and they sort of talk about, what are we doing here, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And Bruce is like, oh, I'm sorry, I wasted all the hot water, I didn't know you. And she was like, well, I guess we missed our window. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? This is quite a lot, quite a overt, you know? Like, we know Tony had the one scene in Iron Man.
Right.
But, like,
well,
that felt more uncomfortable to me, was the scene talking about maybe we should have, you know, winked in the shower together. Like, that's a lot, you know?
yeah. No, I just thought it was weird. There was no, like, build up to it. It just kind of all of a sudden we were, like, expected to buy that they had a thing, and then Bruce just drove off, like, I guess flew off and never was heard from again, and then he is back, and then he's like, hey, Nat, and she's like, hey, Bruce, and it's like, haven't seen each other in years. That's weird. And now he's in the Hulk body, which weirds me out.
Yeah.
And then he was, like, super upset by her death, and I get it, but also they weren't ever together. I don't know what the relationship was built on.
Yeah, it harkens back to one of the earliest archetypes of storytelling. We mentioned this in the beginning of Age of Ultron, in that first, like, fight scene where they siege and they, you know, they take the scepter.
Yes.
Natasha does the, like, sun's going down thing.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, the pretty lady calming the beast, essentially.
Yes.
That's one of the first archetypes ever. It's in stories 8,000 years old, is this idea of, you know, civilizing a wild man.
Yeah.
Through a woman.
Right.
And I think they build off that archetype by, you know, that's the idea behind it. They might not have known that when they were thinking about it, but it's
right.
like Natasha doesn't feel like she has anybody a lot of the time, right? But now she's got this guy in her life. Maybe, you know, there's this person in her life, in her circle, that she has a special relationship to.
What was that?
I think somebody just dumped a body outside of our studio. But
That was scary.
Natasha's got a special relationship that nobody else has with this guy.
Yeah.
You know? And
he's lonely too.
And he's lonely too, because he feels you know, like he can't control himself, and he's got a person now that can help
baby him.
Right. And so, and Natasha, like you said, she's lonely, and she wants a family. She sees what Clint has, and I think she wants something like it. Not with kids, you know, she knows she can't have kids, but, like, she wants, you know,
normal,
a life, a regular life at some point. So I think that's what they were going for.
But it was random.
But it did seem just kind of random. It built over the course of one movie, but it was really a quick build because of all the action scenes that you have to put in a Marvel movie. It's like you don't have the time to start a romance in one film.
And I honestly think maybe Marvel's caught on now, but for a while there with, like, this and then Civil War, they were, like, trying to quick put in romances, and I was like, I'd rather you just not do any romance at all. It doesn't need it.
No.
Throw in another action scene, throw in a funny comedic relief scene.
Right.
Don't throw in a weird random romance.
Yeah, and I mean, it might run the risk of getting stale if you don't add new things, right, to the relationship. But I like, you know, Tony and Pepper's relationship wasn't built in a day.
No.
It was built in
3-4 movies.
Yeah.
You see them in multiple movies.
2 movies, I guess, was like the beginning, and they, like, started dating in the 3rd movie.
You get Avengers, you get Iron Man 3, where everything kind of falls apart. Civil War, it falls apart.
Right, and they break up, they get back together, and then, you know.
You see them
and they don't always have to get back together on screen either, is the thing, right? It's like, but you have to start the relationship on screen, and it can't just be jump to step 2.
Right, guess what? And everybody has to accept it.
Right. Oh, yeah.
So, that's why I don't like that one.
Okay.
And then we have the last one that we do like is Peter and MJ from Spider-Man. They're together in the new one.
They're the new one. They are the young kids on the block. Peter, MJ, you know.
Yeah, which goes back a long ways.
It does.
The original Spider-Man.
And everybody knew it was going to happen as soon as the first Homecoming came out, and there was the first trailer where it's like, we meet MJ, and she's like, you know, my name's Michelle, but my friends call me MJ, and then they're like, I thought you didn't have any friends, you know, or whatever, but like, everyone's like, oh my god, Tom Holland and Zendaya are gonna get together.
Yeah, which that did...
Which is like, I mean, but like on screen at least, which is like, everyone's like, oh my god, you know, and I was like, yes, it's an MJ, and then some people were like, oh, don't do it, and then Tom had like a completely different love interest in the first movie.
Right.
I was like, what? That's not MJ, that's Liz. Who's Liz, you know?
Yeah, Liz is in one of the comics, I believe.
But it was perfect because you could see MJ's interest in Peter develop over the first movie. You know, she was still a central character to the story, even though she wasn't the love interest, right? And Peter...
Who is
whatever.
those people?
Tom Holland is Spider-Man. We all know it. And Peter is... He's intrigued by MJ as well.
That's true.
But he's convinced himself that, you know, Liz is just so pretty. And he's, you know, 14. So it's like... Right. You're not really good at your feelings when you're a 14-year-old boy, I can attest. Right. You don't really know.
Well, MJ is just kind of like an angsty teen, which I really like. Is like she's not, you know, she doesn't remind me of any of the other female characters.
She doesn't pine over him or anything like that.
She's
just observant. You know?
Yeah, sometimes kind of mean.
Yeah.
But he needs that. Yeah, sometimes.
He does.
He needs to take it down a notch.
And then in the next movie, we can see her sort of open up more to him and like be more vulnerable. And him being the soft boy that he is, he's quick and, you know, trying to hide that he's Spider-Man. But she's like, I know it's you. You know what I mean? And it's like, oh my gosh, it's gonna happen.
It's so funny how he attempts to hide that.
No, it's. And then she's like, oh my god, I was only like 60% sure. And you're like, this is the most I've heard her talk the whole series. And it's like, yes.
Right.
Yes. But
she's smart, which
she's
I like that.
Intelligent and
which he is too.
Angsty.
Angsty.
And like
she's just dope. She's a teenager, you know?
You know?
And he's gonna get a third movie.
Yep. Thank the Lord.
So
thank Tom Holland for drunkenly crying both of the studios, calling both of the studios and crying to them and saying, look, you guys gotta figure this out. Like, this needs to happen.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Oh my gosh. No, but I'm really happy because I can't wait to see what they do now with that. And I'm a little irritated. I'm concerned, I should say, about bringing back the Daily Bugle from the old Spider-Mans in a, you know, as this InfoWars type of site. Which, like, I get it, that's like the modern equivalent perhaps of like a tabloid kind of thing, is like a conspiracy website. But I'm concerned. I didn't really like the Daily Bugle storylines, you know, I didn't like it being all focused on, oh, this is the guy, and we gotta figure out who Spider-Man is, and now they know. It's like, I guess, I'm just hoping this kind of was just like a one-time, like a blur, you know what I mean?
Right.
As opposed to, nothing against J.K. Simmons. I think he's great. But I don't like his character at all. I hate him.
That's the point. You're supposed to hate him.
I don't know. I guess that's just my hopes and dreams.
Hopes and dreams.
Anyhow,
now we're going to do something fun.
Woo!
Would you first like to discuss your thing?
So, I have an idea.
Okay.
Called the Darcy Initiative. But what I want to happen is for Darcy from Thor to come back.
That'd be fun.
I would love to see Darcy back in the MCU. But what I really wish would have happened is that Darcy and Thor would have got together instead of Darcy and...
instead of Darcy and Jane.
Instead of Jane and Thor. I wish it had been Darcy and Thor. And not because, like, oh, it would have been a serious relationship and it blah, 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 move the plot, blah. No, it wouldn't. I know, right? Like, it wouldn't have done any of those things. But it would have been so much fun to just see them be so stupid together on Earth in Thor 1. Like, Thor doesn't know anything. He's just sort of bumbling around, and Darcy's just,
She just straight up tased him.
happy-go-lucky. She tased him. She takes a picture of him for Facebook, and he just, like, and, like, smiles. Just, and that's so pure, and I just cannot, I wish...
It would have been cute.
I wish that would have happened, because it would have been a fun little, you know... It would have just been that goofball couple, you know? Mm. And I'm not sure any of them would have done anything productive, but,
Did Thor and Jane?
They would have been wowed with everything the other person was doing, just out of pure simplicity. And then, as opposed to Thor and Jane being wowed by, you know, each other's science and, you know, knowledge and blah, 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 blah. Which is great, but...
Sorry, my dad just called me. Sorry I hung up on you, Dad. I'll call you back after. Okay.
But yeah, that's my Darcy and Thor pitch. Kevin Feige, free to take it. Just put me in the credits.
Just put us both in the credits.
Just give me an internship and I will.
At Stanley's Diary in the credits.
At Stanley's Diary, Carson Mara, internship for life. A job, just a job.
Yes. So, I have the longest Reddit page of it says every Marvel ship.
Oh boy.
And I'm hoping that it is everyone. So, Steve and Bucky, I think, is the most popular one, correct?
It is the most... the one I see the most is Steve Bucky.
Well, this one tells me it's the most popular, so I'm going to go with it. I am impartial.
Impartial? I get it. I get what people want it to happen. Like, everybody loves Bucky, and everybody loves Steve, and they're best friends, you know?
Yeah. And I say, why not?
Why not?
Okay.
Too bad Steve's in the past. Suckers!
We're gonna get a hate mail.
Hey, if we start a controversy, people will watch.
Then it says Steve and Tony.
I see that one.
I can see it because they argue a lot, and people like that.
It's like, oh my god, they're like married, and they're like Peter's dad. And I'm like, yes.
Okay.
They're like Peter's dads. That's what people talk a lot about. There's like fanfic where it's like, Peter comes home late at night, you know, like crawls in the window, and then Steve like turns a light on in the living room, you know, and it's all like he's like,
very domestic.
Where were you? And Peter goes, oh, I was helping Tony fight crime, and then Tony pulls on the lights, goes, want to try again? You know, it's like I just want to. I think that's great. You know?
That's fantastic. Yeah, sure, why not? Clinton Coulson. Why? I don't know, but okay. Why not? I'm like very much like, sure, whatever. The only one I'm not like, sure, whatever, is Thor and Loki, just because I can't get behind it. They're brothers. Adopted or not, they are family.
It's Asgard, not Alabama.
Okay. Interesting.
No offense, but... Yeah. Kind of offense.
Okay, who is referred to? Let's do it again.
Okay.
Who is referred to as the Soviet spouses?
Bucky and Natasha?
Yeah.
I have not seen this. Well, she mentioned a couple, but not that one.
Mm-hmm.
So I think she's going to read, like, ship names, and I gotta try and guess. That's our game.
Why not?
That's a pretty easy one.
Yeah.
I mean, if you know where the characters are from.
Well, kind of. Bucky, like, hung out there.
Yeah, I guess. Okay.
Okay, this one, I don't think you'll get.
I'm ready.
Taser tricks.
Taser tricks. Okay, well, Taser is Darcy. She tased Thor.
Mm-hmm.
And Tricks is Loki. Darcy and Loki.
Man!
Loki's the trickster god.
You're good.
Just gotta think through it, you know? Like, for whatever reason, the first person I thought of was Darcy and, Mantis. I don't know why.
New ship, Darcy and Mantis.
Darcy and Mantis. Oh my god. Yes. Darcy and anyone, honestly. Darcy's just... I love Darcy.
You do.
I miss her.
I miss Darcy.
I miss you, Darcy. Come back.
Oh my gosh.
What if she's in Thor Love and Thunder?
Maybe. We already discussed Steve and Bucky, but I just want to give credit to whoever calls them Starbucks and whoever calls them Barnes and Noble. You're my new favorite people on the internet. Whoever came up with that.
Bravo.
Who is... Oh, I already talked about this too. Steve Rogers and Loki have some great ones. My favorite being Ice Ice Baby.
Yeah, I didn't get it.
I don't get it either.
Because Ice Baby, that's how he found him. Found Loki. Now I got it after a few minutes, but I was like, what?
Who is referred to as American Airlines?
Steve Sam?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Some of these are great.
Those are hilarious.
I've heard people say Science Bros for Tony and Bruce. Mm-hmm. I've never heard Rage Against the Machine, but I have now seen it.
That's funny.
I think that's great.
Oh, man.
Let's go find another one. I don't know. I think apparently people like Bruce and Natasha on this thing.
Well, people are dumb. You can tell them I said that.
I keep thinking people are breaking in. Oh, people call Black Widow and Pepper Potts either red pepper or black pepper. And I like that. Who doesn't love that? Like, who's this creative?
Us.
Alright, that's all we have time for today, but tune in 2 weeks when we discuss Iron Man 2.